Alright, so today we're moving on with the garage process and we'll be putting down some epoxy flooring. Let's get to work. Alright, to get started, we'll be using 2 of these 2.5 car garage kits. Now each box will cover up to 500 square feet. Now in my circumstances, my garage is 620 square feet, so to cover that properly, I'll be using 2 boxes, which they say should cover up to 1,000 square feet. Alright, now we're going to show you what comes in the kit. So you get 2 bags of the acid etch, 2 bags of the flake that comes with it that you picked out the color wise, 2 applicators, and you actually get 2 pouches of part A's and part B's. Okay, let's look at our supposed easy 3-step application process. Step 1, prepare the surface. Step 2, burst, shake, and pour. And step 3, apply the coating. However, okay, there are 2 main steps missing from this process to make this a professional install, and that is concrete grinding and adding a floor primer. This is the Rust-Oleum brand concrete garage floor primer. Now this is recommended by Rust-Oleum to be used with these epoxy coating kits, and it says to be put down on a etched and ground down surface. Additionally, this will make the epoxy coating be much thicker coverage as well. Alright, so before we get started, I do have a few areas of concern on my concrete floor. Now I know this is a brand new slab, however, I do have this chip section right here, which is about 1/8 of an inch deep at the deepest part of it. So we're going to have to come back with some filler on that. I also have one spot further towards the door. Alright, this is the concrete patch I picked out that we're going to use to fill these holes up. It's pretty simple, just mix it up. Got to clean up the surface with this compressed air cleaner and spackle it in there. Okay, this is the concrete grinder I used. This is not what I intended to use, however, this is just kind of what happened. I had the big 3-head machine reserved for me at the local rental place, and when I went to pick it up, I found out that it had a faulty power switch. So I resorted to my edging tool and did an entire 620 square foot by hand. I do not recommend this. Maybe if you had a single car garage, you could get away with this. However, stick to the rental machines, will be much quicker and easier for you. And as you can see here, you can see the color change or contrast in the concrete as I'm cutting through here. And this is exposing the aggregate and the porous surface beneath, which will allow the epoxy to stick much better. Alright, here is a look at the texture of the concrete after the grinding. You can now see that it's more porous and it's going to hold that primer and epoxy much better. Also, I cut in this termination line here with the angle grinder just so I can get a better line on the edge of where the epoxy will stop. Okay, now it's time for the acid etch. I'm going to mix this with 2 gallons of water. Now we're going to do a 10 by 10 square of concrete and scrub it in with the hard bristle brush. So this is a fairly simple process. So in my case, I had 4 bags of acid etch, so I just divided my garage into 4 separate parts. Mixed, rinsed, scrubbed, and repeat in 4 different sections. Additionally, after you mix this stuff, it goes on the concrete clear and clean, and after a while you're scrubbing, you'll see the liquid that you're pushing around with the broom start to turn yellow, and you'll even smell the sulfur smell while scrubbing it in. So the important thing afterwards is to rinse everything thoroughly, and this is what gets all the dust off the floor. Alright, we are finally done our prep work, and it's time to start laying down the primer. And you can see the primer coating is cured and ready for the next step. It is now day 3 of this fun process, and it's finally time to start laying down this epoxy coating. Let's get to it. It is now time to start mixing our epoxy. So we're going to initially just mix our part A and part B individually. And now we're going to roll part A into part B. You'll see it pop here. And at this point, we're going to keep mixing for about 5 minutes straight. We're just going to cut off a small corner of the top of the bag. We're going to go over to the floor and pour out a even ribbon, which we're going to come back with and level out with the roller next. After completely rolling bag number 1 onto the floor, it's time to get out my container of paint chips. Now I'm just going to throw them straight up into the air and allow that to disperse them evenly onto the ground. After I get this section fully laid out with paint chips, I'm going to move over onto bag number 2 and repeat the process. At this point, you can see how well this epoxy is spreading, and I'm having no difficulty with coverage on my floor. Here I am goofing around and wrapping up, throwing down the paint chips and working my way out of the garage for the final coating. Alright, so it is the very next day and I am excited to show you how well this turned out. Let's take a look. It looks amazing. Alright, so there it is. So overall, I am very happy with how well this floor turned out. Now this did take me about 3 days to do. However, the extra 2 steps with the concrete grinding and the primer, I think made all the difference. Alright, so the overall cost involved on this. So you need to figure I had 2 boxes of the kits for the 2.5 car garages. They were about $260 each. So we're already looking at $500. I then added 2 cans or 2 gallons of the Rust-Oleum primer, as well as extra paint chips to throw out here, and the rental, which I did not do, of the grinder, of the concrete grinding machine. So you're looking about $800 for a complete job doing it yourself. Alright, well thank you for watching everybody. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please help me fight the YouTube algorithm, and please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.